They're not going to be doing any buying on the New York Stock Exchange for the next few hours here. We just heard the closing bell. Of course, you could trade after hours, but on the floor, it's closed. And let's take a look at the numbers after that closing bell sounded. The S&P 500 gaining 2/1% to 901. At one point, it had been up 1.5% today to 910.85, as you can see from the left side of the screen there. Take a look at the Dow. A drop here at the end of the day, back down into the red, down about 22 points as the market settles. 83.01, the level on the last trade. Of course, these numbers do shift around a little bit as people get in their last orders here. The Nasdaq has been the leader for the entire day, and it closes up 1.5%. At one point, though, it was up more than 2%, 1792 the last trade there on the Nasdaq. Now, 9 of the 10 major S&P groups higher. Technology and financials leading the way. Here you can see the Infotech Index up 1.3%, 1.4%. The financials up 1 and change. Energy stocks slipping back and forth from negative to positive territory, and they close out, well, there's a green arrow here, but of course that can change in the next few minutes. Now, investors had a lot of factors to digest today, from the Fed statement to the economic reports that we got out today, some good, some bad. Lydia Few is at the New York Stock Exchange with more on how it all panned out. Lydia?
Hey there, Matt. That's right. With some good, some bad. And we kicked off the day pretty strong, actually, with durable goods orders coming in better than expected. That had the market actually high for most of the day. Most of the sectors in the S&P 500, if not all of them, were higher for most of the day before that Fed rate decision came out. Really, the statement is what people were really focused on there. And then we ended up with a sell-off in the Dow, down 23 points on the Dow Industrial Average, whereas the S&P up ever so slightly at about 901 as things sort of settle out here. Now, as for what worked today, in particular, it was the tech stocks. It was pretty strong performance, relative strong performance by the tech stocks in the S&P 500. We did get Oracle earnings beating estimates. That came out after the bell yesterday, so we got some strong performance in Oracle and some of the other tech shares as well. Also, financials did pretty well. We did get a report coming across today saying that Nelson Peltz perhaps may be pushing to break up or have Legg Mason sell part of itself, at least. He's a big shareholder. His Triumph Partners is a big holder of Legg Mason shares. So Legg Mason rose quite a bit on the day as well. From a technical standpoint, don't forget that we did get what's called a golden cross in the S&P 500. That's when the 50-day moving average is crossed above the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average sitting there at 897. We closed above it today, Matt. So there you go. Kind of a mixed day, but very eventful.
All you have to do is mention Nelson Peltz's name, and everybody kind of perks up and says, what did he say? Everyone wants to know. Listen, trading volume was light. Steve here has been saying expect a summer lull. Is that what we're seeing? Is this just seasonal?
Well, a lot of people have been checking out the volume being particularly light and what that says about conviction as far as direction. Peter Kenny over at Night Equity Markets talking about the lack of volume, saying that it's really been part and parcel of the rollover that we've seen in the past 2 weeks. He thinks it is going to be sort of indicative of the kind of trading that we see over the summer. And yes, the summer trading, of course, does tend to be a little bit lighter as well. Back to you, Matt.